Hello, my beautiful ducklings, it's your friendly Cruppeteer, and I'm finally back in the actual Cruppet Studios today for the final episode of the Week of Sardonyx Steven Bomb 3. So welcome to another Steven Universe vlog, and today's episode is Friendship, as I said, the last of the Week of Sardonyx. And I heard something at Comic-Con that they're not coming out with new episodes again until August. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, then I guess this is the last one for a little while then. But anyway, in this episode, Steven and the Gems find Peridot trying to reopen some warp pad place, and they thwart her, they thwart her evil schemes, and they are so scary. That was horrible. So anyway, they thwart her plans, but not really, because Pearl keeps getting in the way of all the action, trying to prove herself to Garnet that she is a big, strong Pearl, and she can somehow win back Garnet's affection, I guess, after the whole Sardonyx affair, Sardonyx Gate, as we call it here. And in doing so, she messes up all the Crystal Gems' plans, you know, all the little cool battle tactics they're having. Pearl gets in the way, Peridot gets away, and everybody's just, you know, seeing like, oh, Pearl, come on, calm down. I mean, really, you're trying too hard. Try hard, Pearl. So I'm messing on my hair because it's me. So anyway, they go back home, and it turns out that using Peridot's little Peapod spaceship, they can track her every movement. So they do track her every movement and go to a UFO sort of thing that Pearl explains Gems used to use to travel through planets, presumably to and from Earth, although there's probably other planets, but whatever. Instead of warp pads, back when warp pads didn't exist yet, they use UFOs to get from place to place. So they're pretty much like the, I can't even think of an analogy. I don't know. They're an old means of They're the horse compared to warp pads, which would be the car. There, okay? Fine, I did it. I'm cool. Am I cool yet? What did the chicks start rolling in, huh? Huh? So anyway, it turns out that Peridot has booby-trapped the entire spaceship. She wasn't even in the spaceship at all. Okay, well, she was. But she wasn't even where the Gems expected her to be in the spaceship at all. And so she has a whole bunch of traps, like lasers and spikes that move up and down. Those were easily avoidable, come on. But she also has an evil little room, a little box room that gets smaller and smaller and smaller every second due to some really big gears a turning, and it appears that, and it turns out Garnet and Pearl get stuck in that room together. And what you gonna do when you're stuck in a room like that? Try to stop the box from compacting into you. Nah, let's talk about our feelings. So Garnet and Pearl do reconcile and talk about what happened, the whole Sardonyx Gate. Pearl says, you know, she feels really, really bad about it, of course. She just wants Garnet's affection back, but she's, and I found this line interesting, just a Pearl, and she needs direction. There's a theory going around that Pearls are kind of like the maid servants of Homeworld, and that's why they were so, that's why when Jasper comes to Earth in The Return, he says a puny or a lost defective Pearl, instead, you know, he calls a Pearl, and this is also in this episode, Pearl says, I'm just a Pearl, so that's definitely a very, very, very high possibility. But also, they reconcile, and they talk about, you know, what happened. Garnet says it hasn't been easy for her either, you know, it's hard to be the strong gem all the time, and she even defused, as we saw in Keystone Motel. She even came apart about how torn up she was about the subject, and Pearl finds that very, you know, very relatable as well. And Garnet even says that sometimes she looks for Pearl's inspiration in a certain subject. So both work off each other very, very well in this scene. And there's only one way they can get out of this little box, and it's to form Sardonyx, who can apparently now use a giant horn thing, or a giant drill thing, to drill through things with her giant fist bump hammers. She does. Pearl and Garnet seem a lot more warm to each other now. It seems like they forgive each other, but it's not over yet because Peridot's still out there messing, and, well, okay, Peridot's still out there getting her stuff messed with. That sounds horrible, doesn't it? But, so they find Peridot in this room. She thinks can get away by, using her finger gun and going through the ceiling with her paracopter. Please, paracopter, shock the sky! I just wanted to do that. I'm cool now. That's Red Hot Chili Peppers reference back when they were good. Their first album and nothing else. Although Uplift Party Mofo was pretty good. But we're not doing music talks here. So anyway, Peridot thinks she can get away with her little paracopter, but Steven grabs her by the foot. Then Amethyst does, and Pearl and Garnet does, and they're all in a little chain trying to stop Peridot from getting away. But Peridot loses a foot, literally, and gets away scot-free without a leg. Well, not a leg, without a foot. And that's pretty much it. The gems just have her foot. Garnet makes a pretty funny joke, and it seems like Garnet and Pearl are now a lot more warm to each other, and they're probably gonna just resume being how they were normally before. I hope they do, at least, because as much as I love the whole, they both have to deal with their consequences, which I talked about extensively in Cry for Help, as you all disliked. I don't know why people dislike the Keystone Motel vlog that much. Not only is it the most viewed video on my channel, but it's the most disliked one, too. I don't know what's up with that. What did I do wrong in it, huh? So anyway, this was a very good wrap-up to the Steven Bomb 3 Week of Sardonyx thing. Pretty much everything, came together in the end. Everything came together. And I'm just going to say it now. I'm not exactly, what was it? Keeping it together sort of made me warm up to Peridot a little more, but before that, I never thought she was that likable of a character. A lot of people thought she was funny, the Dorito or whatever they call her. But I'll give it to it. This episode is the one that made me love her. There are some just little scenes where she's just everything goes wrong for Peridot, and I love characters like that. Like, everything goes wrong for them no matter what. Every single little scene, she's like, I don't understand this. What's happening? Why does everything always happen to me? And it's just so funny. Like, she'll just, go off. There's one scene where, when they find Peridot in the end, she's just sitting in front of her computer thing. She's like, I don't understand what any of this means. And it's just, her little ab-libbing and stuff is very, very funny in this episode, especially. So you know what, I'll give it to you now. I'm officially a Peridot fan. And, alongside that, the emotion that Garnet shows in the, little box room is also very good. It shows Garnet, Garnet can't really, as we also heard in Keystone Motel, but it's, formally addressed here, Garnet can't always handle being the big gem, the big leader sometimes. She's just like anybody else. She has faults, as could be tied into historical friction. I didn't think about that, but now I do think about that. One thing I'd like to add about historical friction that I reviewed last night, and I totally forgot to mention it, although how much I loved it, is the way they conveyed flaws and human flaws in that episode is great. I'm just going to tell you now. So anyway, that's really great. The dungeon... Oh, I wouldn't say the dungeon. The UFO, while I wouldn't say it's the best, the most original thing that Steven Universe has ever done, is a fun little, fun little traps. As I said before, there's one scene where they're just running through spikes that just go up and down. They're not pointing out and trying to directly hit them. No, they're just going up and down and up and down, and it's on the ceiling too. So I guess that's more of a threat. But no, they're just going up and down. I mean, they didn't really have to run through it or anything. They just Actually, it would probably be better if they just stepped carefully through it, if you think about it, but, I'm nitpicking. Overall, it was just a good episode, a lot of really funny Peridot scenes, a lot of really funny Steven scenes, too. I like how, what a positive outlook he has, even when, he's facing a mortal enemy. And just overall, really good episode, really good wrap-up to Steven Bomb 3, and you know what? You know what I'm gonna say about the Week of Sardonyx? Hate me if you want. Best Steven Baum yet. Best one yet. Yep. I mean, there was pretty much consistent quality every single episode. Every single episode was good. They tried something new. They tried the whole Louis sort of style. Not a lot of, not really a beginning, middle, and end or a 3-arc story structure. Just sort of events happen and you live with the consequences. That's great. I love seeing stuff like that, and I love seeing expanding the, horizon of what little kid cartoons can do. So, overall, best Steven Baum yet. Great job, Crooniverse, and thank you for watching. I will see you guys later. Thumbs up if you liked it, or if you didn't, maybe you're a rebel. And hit that subscribe button with your left nostril. Yeah. Chicka chicka.